Are we live? We are live. Hello. Well, let me make sure I can hear myself there. Hello. Oh, on time it looks like, actually.
Are we live?
Let me send out this tweet.
We are live. Hello.
Oh, OKKO turns 3. Oh, there's probably a bad echo. I'm sorry about that. OKKO turns 3 today. I didn't know OKKO was and I shared birthdays next to each other. That's crazy. Anyway, sorry. Oh, everyone's saying sup. Bruce Parker, Coconut Buyer. That's an interesting one. TuneJ723, Cornbread, Zane Powers, Kit the Mystical, Bloxy Oxenwinkle, Forever Zard, Disco Spider, Purple Goop. What's up? Jorge Espinosa. How's it going? All right, Bruce Parker. Okay, so let's get rid of Twitter. Forever, for everyone? No, not for everyone. Hey, Austin, K-Master, Ransom Film. Ninja's dad is also John Cena. Is that true? Forever Zard. Did I get everyone? A guy named Crystal. Thank you, Austin. Let's switch it. Let's switch it up to me. Yes, here I is on the internet. How's it going, everybody? Oh, thank you for the happy birthdays. Hey, Izzy's here. How's it going? Niji Kichu's here. Paleo's here. Wow, we got quite the crowd, Buster. Buster decided... I've been setting up this whole time, and Buster he literally hides in the closet until the show starts. What's up with that? Anyway. Hi, Nina Garcia, Cornbread. I think it's the Ghetto Beaner. They called me Ghetto. Are you the same? Never. If you're that person, I don't know. Okay. I hope they are. Oh, Izzy's calling. Hold on. Izzy's calling. Oh, we bought a circus starring Kevin James Wen. Hold on. Hello? Can you hear me? Hold on. It's quiet. Hold on. Are you there?
Yeah, hey, what? Hey.
Hey, how's it going? How are you?
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Izzy. Thank you.
I want to make sure we did something special. I don't have anything planned. I just called.
Oh, that's cool. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah? How was your Saturday, I guess?
It was alright. I might have COVID.
You might? Or you might?
Yeah, my roommate's work had a positive thing, so now we're all quarantined. I'm sorry. I'm really tired. I took some sleep aid. I'm not going to stay up much later. I just wanted to call right at the beginning so I can wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you, Izzy. Thank you. Did you have to do the thing all up in your nose? The test?
Yeah, I did. It was through a drive-through.
What? Wait, so they you roll down your window and then they're like, hello, and you're like, whoa, hold up.
No, they have a thing where you roll down your window and then you grab it out of a box and then they instruct you.
Oh, Austin wants me to tell you that you're cool.
Oh, thanks, Austin.
Austin wanted me to tell you that.
Apparently we're friendship goals according to some people.
I've heard that. I guess, yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, just happy birthday.
Oh,
I hope the stream goes well.
I hope so too. I have flowers. The flowers, my wife got flowers for herself, but she's passing them off as flowers for me for my birthday. So
I do the same thing.
So they're like, we got you flowers. I'm like, do I ever get flowers? But I was like, well, I'll display them during the stream, and that'll be a thing. So,
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous. They look great. I love the little white rose.
Oh, yeah. It's from it's a nice shop that she got them from. So
it really complements the Godzilla and then your friends, the standees.
Yes. That's my Funko Pops is the pizza party. Everyone else has Funko Pops, Yeah. And I guess I have Funko Pops too, but I don't have a wall. Anyway. I need to look into how I got those. If someone gave me an email, I don't even know the company. Yeah.
But I could make more. I could make maybe some Knock Force ones or something, and legitimately make it into a little Funko Pop thing.
Yeah. See, we could make a whole line of Pizza Party Funko Pops. I feel like it's easy to do because everyone gets one nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I should let you go to sleep. But do you have anything you wanted to say before I let you go to sleep, I guess?
Happy birthday to you.
It's okay. It's cool. You know. Well, it's not in the public domain, so don't sing anymore. But
Right. I was rewatching Gravity Falls, and during the last episode, they like just cut to like halfway through the song where it's like "To You."
I forgot about that. That's a good show. I need to rewatch that show.
Oh, I just rewatched it because it's on Hulu, and my roommate hadn't seen it yet, and it's good. It holds up super well.
I'm gonna show it to Sophie when she's older. I feel like it's too old for her at this point, but I'm going to.
Have you ever thought about like editing stuff, like just taking things and neutering it and showing her at a young age?
I've heard people do that. I have heard.
I believe.
I've heard people do that for kids stuff. I hope. Is everyone into this? I hope so. Sorry if everyone's cool with us chilling out. But no, it's okay. I'm having fun, so who cares? But I have heard of people doing that with like. We showed Sophie E.T. last night, and that was interesting because other parents I've heard cut out the boring parts or the scary parts or cut around the guns, and we just showed her the movie, so it's like, you know. But that was kind of magical. Seeing E.T. with a little kid is like a lot of fun because here, I'll tell you this one story and then I'll let you go. I was gonna tell the story anyway, so this is like two birds. So so we're watching E.T. and she really likes when E.T. the bike flies with Elliot and they go the moon shot, you know, all that stuff. And then later, you know, the kids are running from the government and like the grown-ups are like ascending on these kids on the bikes. And she was like, E.T., you need to lift up the bikes and have them fly. And she's like screaming. She's like, E.T., please. And then the bikes fly up, and she was just like flipping out, like, oh my god, I can't believe, like, she was just like her face was like, what? They did it? They would escape the adults? It was amazing. So.
I like to think that like watching it with your kid is like a new experience. Like she's the show for you. Usually you can tell, because you get to. Well, it's also I don't get to sit down and just chill and watch a movie like that a lot. Mm-hmm. So it's part of that, but seeing it through her eyes and seeing like what works, what doesn't. Space Jam didn't work. E.T. worked really well. So it's like, you know, Space Jam, she's like, who's Michael Jordan? And I was like, God. They're wrong.
Yeah, well, I think kids today, they don't know who Michael Jordan is, you know? They just know who LeBron James is, I guess. I don't know. You know. Anyway, all right, I will let you go. I should talk about...
You should probably start your show.
Yeah, this is a good intro, though. This was a good intro. All right, well, you have a good day. You have a good night. Get some sleep, all right? All right, bye. That was awesome. I love that. All right, that was cool. That was a good way to start off the show. I saw in a super chat that I'm going to... I did do a cheers to Austin. Hold on. Bloxy Uncle says, we bought a circus starring Kevin James when. I saw that was trending on Netflix. People were talking about it. I don't know about we bought a circus, but we'll see. Cheers to you, Bloxy Oxenwinkle. And Buster is like chewing on my chair back here. All right. So thank you all for the birthday love. It's crazy. Well, I got to tell that cool E.T. story, which I was going to tell. Yeah, it's been a cool, crazy week, I guess we all know. But we're here. I think I had a good length of posting from about, what was it? The HBO Max recommendations until Thursday. Friday, I was just like really just burned out from the week. So I did not have an upload on Friday. You watched the Kevin James birthday short for today? I haven't, but maybe I should block Sax. Good point. Cheers. But I had a crazy run of like, I think it was like mid-July to Thursday of every day having an upload, which is really cool. I wanted it to be the last one, but Friday was sort of too burned out and I needed to get all my 12-ounce mouse stuff because I'm doing a season 1 and 2 review of that. And probably going to do a season 3 and maybe a small mini review, not a movie crap short, of Invictus and the webisode because those sort of aren't part of a season and all that. But other than that, yeah, it's been cool. It's been crazy. you know, I will. Sorry, I put Ninja in there. I was oh, okay. Thank you, Black Sax. I'm gonna go for that. But yeah, I hope you liked all those videos. I think I put out a lot of stuff. Next week isn't gonna have as much stuff because I'm not really gonna do much on. I mean, I'm gonna fix up stuff for this on Sunday, but I'm not gonna do much when I wake up tomorrow on stuff. So I don't think there'll be a video on Friday also because that is my wedding anniversary. Actually, 11 years on Friday. So I won't be having a video of that, but there'll be videos Monday to Thursday, and I'm pretty sure I'm still doing a stream. So that's what's going on. Oh, hey, there's Nathaniel Foga. Thank you. Here's a little something for your here's a little something for your B-Day. I'll probably make a little doodle for you later. Hope you have a monster truck-tastic birthday. I need to get the monster truck thing here. I forgot about that. Anyway, cheers to you, Nathaniel Foga. And he did post in the Discord. Oh, hold on. Happy birthday. Enjoyed the PHPs I've been giving you. Sorry. I love the Filipino pesos. Cheers to you. Nathaniel Fogg reminded me, last year I celebrated my birthday at BronyCon. A lot of people were saying, Paleo was saying it was in 2016. It's actually in it was last year. It was by choice because I wanted to hang out. I don't get to do a lot of conventions with my friends. That's actually the last time I got to do a convention, actually. Believe it or not. It was that convention because, you know, COVID and stuff. I got to see Saber and Paleo and Jax and Ace and Laura and I'm sure someone is going to get offended. I forgot their name. Hirasashi. So Jax, so Paleo, so Saber. Ace, anyway, I'm sure Paleo can remind everyone else. But yeah, it was a cool convention. That was a cool convention. And Jane Nicholson's video was actually cool. It's okay, Paleo. But I enjoyed both BrodyCons. I have to say, I kind of didn't get to talk about this ever, but the Jenny Nicholson BrodyCon video reminded me how nice that fandom has always been to me, despite the fact that I have, like, obviously never watched that show ever. And they're very nice to me, despite that they're like, why is this guy here? Like, I get very little of that, which says a lot. Like, I'm on a panel. Why am I at BrodyCon? Because my friends are here, so it's cool. Anyway, if you and your family bought an establishment, what would it be, i.e. a museum? Discount Viscount. I haven't seen you in a little bit, Discount Viscount. How are you? Cheers to you. I'd probably be a movie theater if it was my choice. The Senator Theater in Baltimore. But I don't want a lot of money because I think that's a hard business. But thank you, Discount Viscount. Cheers to you. Who is Jenny Nicholson? Did I say her name right? Is it Nick? What? Did I say it wrong? Anyway. Who are your we all know your favorite is Apple Crumble. Did I say it was Apple Clumps? Apple Clumps is my favorite. Is my favorite pony. Okay. There's a lot to talk about. But before we do, let's talk about... Okay, first off, one big announcement, and since Paleo's here, I will say it. I'm going to be on the POS podcast on Monday. It is the first time I've really been... I was on the 100th. I've wanted to be on where there's not like a million guests, where it's just me and the crew, and so that is happening on Monday. So if you have nothing to do on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, all that stuff... show up to the POS podcast because I will be there and I'm really excited for that. And because that's one of my quarantine goals, and I'm finally getting that done because I wanted to be on the POS podcast again, to do an episode again, because that used to be my home, my other home podcast. Believe it or not, check out the Forest Porn episode if that is still there. That is a fucking classic. I don't care if it's taken down or not. It's a classic. I'm proud of that. One of the best podcasts I've ever done. That one right there. Paleo's probably like, oh, don't talk about that. Okay, so before we go on, let me say, check out the Discord. It's a really great community. If you love hanging out in the chat, or if you watch this later and you're like, man, I'd like to hang out with those guys in the chat and this community, guess what? There's a Discord where we all hang out. It has cool channels like General. No, I'm joking. Like suggestions for Jim, where you can suggest things for me to talk about during the show or review, which I actually do put on a list and consider. Believe it, like I really do. I just consider things for a long time, but it still helps me come up with stuff. It also has general. I remember novelty card appreciation channel, and I have new novelty cards which are Ren and Stimpy. So I'll be posting in that soon. But yeah, there's an Ask Jim, and you can ask me questions anytime. If you never get your question answered on here, or never get to ask me a question on here or whatever, you can always ask me on there, and I get around to answering them. I'm probably going to answer them all before I go to bed tonight, I hope. I know I say that a lot, but I think I actually am going to. But anyway, it's an awesome Discord. I'm fairly regularly active on there, and I get to ask I post early about the short I'm reviewing tonight, or ask like, hey, what news story do you want to hear about most? So it's like a more interactive experience if you want to do that, as well as this show and everything I do is supported by you, the people who watch, either through Patreon or which I have exclusive content, including Knock Force commentaries, exclusive Fia's commentaries, exclusive videos, everything like that, postcards. You get to vote more in the movie review vote, all that good stuff, but as well as super chats during the show, because pretty much all of my content is supported by viewers like you, and the more support I have, the easier it is for me to be able to make more stuff. And I thank you if you are financially able to do so. Thank you very much. All right. Hey, William Elman's here. And Ghost Kidney 7. That's a cool name. All right. What's John K. think of my Ren and Stimpy cards? I'm sure he hates them for some reason. But we'll talk about Ren and Stimpy later. All right. So, we're talking about the Ren and Stimpy thing. So, to start off the show, no one, theoretically, has seen Tenet. I mean, I'm assuming Christopher Nolan has. But since time is a flat surface, to my understanding, and since I, in terms of Tenet, have I already technically seen Tenet, if I invert time or something? Actually, the top comment on one of the Tenet trailers is like, now that I've seen the movie, I can watch the trailer, and that was the top. People voted it top because they love that comment so much. But I am now going to guess the entire plot of Tenet. Yes, I know. Because I feel like through the fact that time means nothing anymore, theoretically I have already seen Tenet in some time stream. So, here's what I think happens in the entirety of the movie. So if you don't want all of Tenet spoiled for you, then close your ears, and someone in the chat say he's stopped talking. But about Tenet. But otherwise, here we go. Okay, so John David Washington is a crazy CIA guy. Everyone loves him. He's great as a CIA person. And then they're like, we're going to kill you on the train tracks for some reason. I don't know. No one will fill these parts in, I guess. And then, he thinks he's dead, but he wakes up and he's not dead. That guy's like, a lot of people don't pass this dead part. And so he wakes up and they're like explaining, the inversion thing, and time moves back, forwards and back, and they can play with it and all this stuff. And that's fine, whatever. And then there's this great world war thing that's going to destroy us, and that's why we need this inversion, because if we don't have it, they'll destroy it. And he's like, yeah, but the fact that I'm here now, doesn't that mean that it didn't happen, and all this stuff, whatever. So they show him, they move the that thing where he's like looking all shocked, and it's red, and then people come out of the red thing, and it's like a space guy, a World War II person, some sci-fi stuff, and they're like, what is this? It looks vaguely familiar. And they're like, we are the rest of Christopher Nolan's filmography. And he's like, wait, what? And so what? Here we go. And so what they realize is Christopher Nolan's filmography gets really bad. And so John David Washington and Robert Pattinson, who's pretty much playing Christopher Nolan, the floppy hair. White people don't have that many haircuts. It's just a thing. Sorry, white people. So he realizes that this could destroy the reputation of Christopher Nolan, which is of paramount concern to Christopher Nolan. So So, what does he do? So he's all freaked out. He has to fight these guys. He's doing his weird inversion stuff, and one of them shows up with a bunch of bullet holes, and he's like catching the bullet holes or the bullets, because it's crazy. It's once you see it, you'll be like, whoa, this is nuts. Christopher Nolan. And then they're like, well, what do we do? It's just me and Robert Pattinson with the floppy hair. What am I going to do? And so then they move the thing around again, and David Washington's like, no, I can't see more of this filmography. And then Leo DiCaprio shows up from Inception. We see behind DiCaprio, it's the house, and the top is still spinning, because, bitch, that shit was always a fucking dream. And then DiCaprio walks out, he goes, you need some help? And then Batman shows up. And then somebody who's from The Prestige, Dunkachino from Insomnia, shows up. Some white guy from Dunkirk. Matthew McConaughey's there. A guy from The Following who will be in black and white, like it's that reference in Jay and Silent Bob's Strike Back. Because, of course, we all know Christopher Nolan's a big stand for Kevin Smith movies. And then they have this epic battle, because Tenet is in the exact middle of the filmography. It is the point of no return, where everything starts to totally suck. Some say he was completely overrated the whole time, and really it's not that big of a deal if he sucks that bad. But others say that this is the point where things get really stupid. So they decide to fight, and it's this big epic battle. And they're all fighting, Batman's punching people, all this stuff. And then, John David Washington's fighting, he gets thrown into this room, and Michael Mann is there. Michael Mann, I hope this is good. I hope this is funny. Michael Mann is there, and John David Washington, what's going on? He goes, sit down. And he goes, you don't understand. You're missing the point of this whole battle. He's like, what do you mean? He goes, this isn't about the legacy. This is about the legacy of Christopher Nolan, but they're not the end point. And he goes, what? I thought the Spaceman and, Adrian Brody was in one of the future ones, and he's really old because it's the future. And keep it up. Thank you, Rocket Duck. Thank you. Cheers to you. Rocket Duck 413, I love you too. Cheers. Michael Mann's like, Nolan's been ripping off my shit for fucking years. This is the weirdest show I've ever done. Nolan's been ripping off my shit for years. He even had Dunkachino. But everyone knows, he fought digital. I made a cool movie in digital called Collateral. He was fighting technology. But there's one thing he couldn't fight. What his last movie would eventually become. And he's like, what's that? And he was like, a TV series on Netflix. And John David Washington was like, no, this can't be. He's like, yep. He directs a TV series on Netflix. He's like, what's the TV show? And he's like, I don't want to tell you, man. It gets dark. He's like it's dark and serious. And he's like, no, but you'll see. And so he has to open this door that's there. And the door that's there is, the door, I just remembered I need this. Anyway, the door that's there says Netflix, and he opens it up. And as he gets in, the aspect ratio starts slowing, getting smaller. And he has to fight this guy, and he realizes Christopher Nolan directs The Kissing Booth, the series, and John David Washington has to stop it. And at the end, they have this epic battle, and he's doing the inversion thing, and bullets are coming back in his gun, and people start off bloody, but then he has to punch them and all this stuff. And then it ends, and him and Pattinson are because he's there, and Zane Powers is in this also. And then they get to the end of the movie, and he stops the Kissing Booth, the series directed by Christopher Nolan, from happening. And then it comes up, and it's John David Washington is like, do you think we stopped it? And he goes, I think we did. I think this is how we save. I think this is how we saved Christopher Nolan's filmography. Maybe things will turn a course, and this will not be the end point. He goes, what do you think the end point will be? He goes, I think of a lot of quality films in theaters. And then we just see the aspect ratio small become, go into nothingness. And then it explodes and says, HBO Max. We were streaming the whole fucking time. Nice. All right. Limp Bizkit sings the Mission Impossible scene during the credits. I hope so. Cheers to you, Austin. That's the twist. Okay, anyway. All right. Hold on. I realized I totally okay. It's okay. I'll have to do this later for the... Alright. Okay. I hope that made sense. Oh, I forgot Memento Guy's in it. Damn it. Oh, yeah, and Memento Guy, his twist is he shows up and he's the end of the movie of his plot line. And then, like, so they constantly have to remind him of that stuff. I forgot about Memento. Or did I? Alright. I think everyone wants me to talk about SpongeBob news, or at least Marie O'Connor. I'm sorry, Marie O'Connor, that you came to hear me. I hope that was funny. I think it was sort of funny. I hope so. Anyway, Zodberg liked it. So, let's do SpongeBob and then I'll talk about Muppets now. Alright, so Camp Koral is going to CBS All Access. This is a surprise since it was supposed to show up in July, and since July was running out, I think they went, oh shit, yeah, it's going to CBS All Access. How does this make any sort of sense? Why would they do this? This all has to do with CBS All Access doing a new thing with Nickelodeon cartoons, as well as they obviously want another SpongeBob thing there when Sponge on the Run shows up there in January. They want you to go, oh, I've already signed up to see this SpongeBob movie. There's Camp Koral. Now, a lot of people are saying that this show is doomed or something, that they don't have any faith in it. First off, I don't really want to judge the show, and whether Steven Hillenburg would have liked it or not seems to be I'm not getting into that, because frankly, to me, it's like, I haven't seen this show. And in my mind, when I see this show, I will judge this show. I'm not going to judge Camp Koral until I've seen it. To me, yeah, SpongeBob Babies sounds dumb, but think about when you were hearing about the show Muppet Babies. If there was the internet in the early 80s, I'm sure people would have hated that too. So let's just give it a chance. That's my thing with it. But the other thing with Camp Koral is kids don't watch things on TV, on regular TV. Mike, are you going to behave yourself? Okay. When kids watch TV, it's mainly through apps, through Netflix, through streaming. In fact, I've watched TV with kids and they like ask for their moms when commercials come up. Like, they don't get commercials. Like, I'm serious. Like, it's not part of their viewing experience normally. So, I honestly think this was a better idea, because this show is not targeted at me. It's not targeted at the whole cartoon community that hates it, obviously. It's targeted more like at my daughter's age. And those kids are going to watch it on streaming. In fact, most of her shows she likes, she watches on the Nick Jr. app, not on actual Nick Jr. And so, Camp Koral, would I think it make more sense to have it on the Nick Jr. app or the Nicktoons app or something like that? Yeah, absolutely. But if you're starting off this CBS All Access, and I'm like, well, maybe we'll try out Camp Koral. And let's say, so if he gets into Camp Koral, I'm going to spend that $6 until she's sick of it, and then we'll probably cancel it. But kids stuff on streaming matters a lot, because that's primarily where younger kids get their entertainment now. They either watch it on demand, they watch it streaming, all this stuff. So to me, it's like, we have this little kid show, we're putting it on TV. That's just stupid at this point. Nobody even cares. Like, Sesame Street is the exception, but most parents I know watch it when it updates on whatever app they have it on. So I think it makes a lot of sense. It makes more sense that people realize. I don't think it means they've lost faith in it. I think that we're seeing this news a lot more, even with Universal. We'll talk about later in the show with Peacock. These companies are losing faith in their TV channels, and especially with young kids stuff. That's just the way it's going to go. I don't think it means what it used to mean. And this idea of looking at entertainment both in these COVID times and this changing media times and going like, oh, it's going to streaming, it's a shitty thing. No, there's so many economic things at play here. It doesn't mean they've just like given up on it. It just means like, well, financially and due to press tours and all this stuff, this is the best way to do this. That's why they're doing it. So it doesn't really represent that, and it really shows they have some faith in CBS All Access and actual Camp Koral. If they didn't have faith in it, they would have released it, actually. Just put it on TV. They would have just put it out. But they didn't. So it shows to me they actually do have faith in it. And they're hoping that when you watch Sponge on the Run and you see Camp Koral's there. Now, we don't have the release dates on this. This is just me hypothetically. But they'll want you to go, oh, Sponge on the Run. Oh, there's this thing with SpongeBob Babies. And then the kids will be like, I want to watch SpongeBob Babies. And then, you're stuck with CBS All Access. So I get why they're doing it. It's smarter than you realize. I'm sorry for everyone in the cartoon community who had a Camp Koral video in their upcoming thing. But I don't understand the SpongeBob anime thing, but I hope it came back online regardless. I really didn't get to look into that enough, unfortunately. Also, the SpongeBob movie is coming out in Canada on August 14th. I'm a little surprised they're doing this, but since I think Netflix apparently actually does not have to adhere to the US release date, so it could come out on Netflix and other countries anytime, so fire up your fucking VPNs, bro. But this is seemingly the first time you can actually watch it. So if anyone wants to meet me by Niagara Falls on August 12th, maybe we can convince Animat to pick us up on the other side of Niagara Falls, and then we'll like just drive into Canada, see Sponge on the Run, spend a few days, have a nice trip, and then come back and possibly, hopefully not infect all of Canada with COVID, so we can see the fucking SpongeBob 3. But, that's... I do think it's interesting they're keeping this date in Canada. I'm really curious if anyone is actually going to go to a theater, even in Canada. But that is interesting. The borders are closed. Yeah, the borders are closed. You think that's going to fucking stop me? We're gonna jump off. We're gonna find a way. We'll have somebody like put a blanket over the barbed wire fence, which is on the Canadian border, and we'll like jump over. I just feel like there's a store you can just like sneak into. I think we can get this done. I think we can go into the YMS can help. We can get Animat, YMS, Drake, maybe. I don't know. Let's do it. It would be awesome. All right, so Muppets Now. I've seen one episode. That is all that's out of Muppets Now. I want to preface that because it seems like everyone's gotten these like crazy reviews and like I'm gonna forget about this show. First off, why? Like, what I don't get about this Muppets Now kind of thing, like, it's Nostalgia Critic put out like a long form video about it. I was like, let's hear Muppets Now out, because it's like the first Muppets thing. It's like the first real Disney push of Muppets since the Jason Segel kind of movies. I guess that's what we call them. When we have Muppets, like let that. I just think let that show have more episodes before we like destroy it. It just feels like people went after it so much. But what I don't know Ryan Walterson's, if he's here. I haven't seen him here. I don't know his opinion on it, but I don't think it's like the best episode ever, but to me it was like a first episode. It explained the concept. I like the RuPaul stuff. It did feel like they need to like edit a little less and be a little more spontaneous. I was surprised by the Muppet from the Muppets, that character's name I forget, being in there. But I like it okay. So if you seem to like it, I think we're going to continue to watch Muppets Now. I am planning on doing a review of when we have the entire thing, but not this episode. But I was fine with this episode. I thought it Niji Kicho, I'll get you. I just want to finish Muppets Now. I did have a lot of fun with it. I think it's just like the best way to reintroduce that kind of show, because the Muppet Show isn't what kids understand about entertainment now. That this really is, and I thought it was a good way to reintroduce that with that. Okay, whoa, all right. I was fine. Anyway, Niji Kiju's sending me a bunch of fun facts. Hold on. But I like Muppets Now. I have no problem with Kermit. I'm excited to see where it goes, but I kind of want to hold with it and let it develop before I just like write it off. I think there's some interesting stuff there. I don't hate Kermit's voice. I saw potential in it. Did I think it was the greatest Muppets thing ever? No. But I thought it actually had some pretty cool potential. So let's all try to stay with it and be chill. And like hate it when we have 5 episodes, not when we have 1 episode, Or like it, or just explain it more. Because we watch more of just one Muppet Show episode like that, you know what I mean? So, anyway. I like it, and I like its idea of reintroducing it, and I think it'll help kids get into Muppets. So look at it that way. Sort of thing, same thing with Kamp Koral. Maybe it's not made for you, and like understand it a little more than just like harsh it. It's like not my Muppets, yeah, because it isn't trying to be your Muppets. Like, let this new generation get into it. Anyway, all right, let me drink this pre Niji Kichu. Fun fact: for the '98 Godzilla, the statue of Zilla made to show to Toho for the first time. They flew it to Japan, and when unveiled, the Toho crew sat in silence for 10 minutes staring at the statue. Hold on, continued. Hold on. Toho then asked, thanks, and left. The studio left behind the statue at Japan. Toho sent emails saying they had no idea how to improve the design, in which the studio mistook for Toko loving the look. Wow. I don't know. That's a funny story. Thank you for those super chats. It's very generous of you, Nichi Kichu. Cheers to you. That's a good one. That's a good one. I just imagine they're just like, I don't know how to improve it because it's that terrible. And so they're polite, and they're like, oh, man, we did a good job. No, you didn't. I imagine when they showed it off, they unveiled it, and Puff Daddy's Come With Me was playing. It was like, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da. That's what I imagine. Anyway, thank you for that, Nijikichu. That was awesome. Thank you. That was a great fun fact. All right. One more. All right. Oh, Ryan said it was good. Okay, cool. So Comic-Con at home, the numbers came out, and it wasn't particularly good, and a lot of people were judging about what a failure it sort of was, and how it didn't work, and obviously a lot of that was pre-taped before the panels went up and all that stuff. And although there was certain acclaim for the Bill and Ted one hosted by Kevin Smith, that they edited in a fun way, and people actually seemed to like that one, none of the views were very high on it. Apparently, like, pretty low. I mean, you know, it would be good for me, but it's, for most people, for how much they spent on it, it's not very good. So they where are they going? Okay, so they were talking about how this wasn't really well done. There's been a lot of people talking about how the Comic-Con, that they should have done more, like, you know, interactivity in the chat, things of that nature. But I don't know how you would do that, because if you did, like, a lot of people would be there, and if you've ever been in a chat on a live stream with a ton of people, you'd just be scrolling, like, constantly. Maybe, like, there's a way you can buy a badge and have it more limited, and, like, screen questions or something like that. But it just, and I also think a lot of those panels, like, I like the Infinity Train panel, I did like the Bill and Ted panel, I liked the Close Enough panel, but there weren't, like, panels that, like, they should have done a Wonder Woman 1984 like, unveiled a new trailer, or a Black Widow thing, or something, or Mandalorian Season 2, like, they could have premiered, they're acting like that's still coming out. I just think there's some things they could have done to make this kind of more of a big kind of thing, and they didn't, and they kind of failed at making it a more interesting thing. And I think it's just like, you know, maybe the industry wasn't there for them, but it just, like, they didn't have these big, you know, they should have had, like, Robert Downey Jr., like the original Avengers, have just a chat for 45 minutes. I think people would have shown up, or something like that. But they just didn't have it, but it seemed like nobody wanted to give them that. So I think it's half the industry doesn't know what they're doing in terms of anything, and half that it just wasn't there for them. I do actually have to pee very early. I think because I drank a lot of water earlier, so I'm going to take a pee break very early. I'll probably take one later in the show in an hour, but I'm going to be right back, and then, sorry, I just really have to pee. And then I'll talk about AMC and Universal. Be right back. I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry about that, everybody. Sorry. My belt got stuck on my... Oh, I like the Muppets as Avengers. Sorry about that. It was just really... Anyway. Alright. Okay. Alright. That's true. Oh, Izzy said, turns out if you call Jim Forrest in the middle of this show, he'll answer. I will answer if you call, if you have my number. I don't know how many people do. Anyway, alright, so AMC and Universal shortening the theatrical window. This is kind of a huge deal. Before we had heard that AMC and Universal were not getting along and we weren't going to get Universal movies back in AMC theaters when they opened. And people were getting, I think, really doom and gloom about this. I never really thought that would stand because how can a movie theater chain not have Fast and Furious movies? I just didn't see that coming at all whatsoever. I thought that would probably never happen. But they have worked out a deal to shorten the theatrical window to 17 days if they deem it necessary. Now, AMC and Universal, I think Universal or whomever, tried this out previously with a Scout's Guide to Zombies or whatever, and a Paranormal Activity sequel, and that didn't really work out. But, is Niji Kichu leaving? I didn't see that. Anyway, bye Niji Kichu. Thank you for being here, and that was an amazing fun fact, by the way. But AMC... that didn't exactly work out. But apparently what this means is for 3 weekends, after a movie is in theaters for 3 weekends, they can take it out of theaters and put it on kind of like pricey on demand. So $20, just like what we've seen for Trolls or Scoob or King of Staten Island. Now, a lot of people have said this deal, theoretically, although they could do that for Jurassic World 3 and Minions 2 or Fast and Furious 9, they probably won't. They'll probably do it for the smaller movies that probably, films make, I think it's like 75% of their gross those first 3 weekends. And if that 75%, especially for smaller movies, they really don't make anything that third weekend, so they could just put it on demand. That's the idea. Buster's right at my feet here. That's the idea. This is only a deal that's been worked out with only AMC and Universal. So Regal doesn't like it. Cinemark probably won't do it. Disney is really against this deal. Will other studios do it? I could see it happening. There's certain things that should be taken into account that AMC is trying to do their own kind of streaming service kind of thing, or where, much like Vudu, you can order a movie through them, and it seems like this will probably help that investment. I don't know if other studios will do it. It sounds like Disney won't at all. They're pretty against it, although Disney has made so many deals to make them so much money on their huge blockbusters and take away the best screens from places and all that stuff, that it just of course they're against it. But this might mean that Disney controls more of the theatrical environment, and these other studios are just finding other revenue streams and stuff like that. Paramount might do it, as Paramount's been selling off a lot of stuff recently. From Spongebob to we'll talk about Without Remorse later, but what this to me is a big deal, because this I do think smaller mid-budget films this might work out for, because suddenly Universal could be like, well, you're only going to make a movie for 3 weeks, we can use that same promotional campaign to basically dive things out and have a as big of an opening weekend as we can, and then by the third weekend after that, go to VOD, and people are sort of talking about your movie. And I think that could work for smaller stuff. Suddenly, they'll probably actually want to make smaller movies or mid-budget movies, which have kind of gone away in recent years, because there's more of a financial investment to do so. Now, will people pay $20? I don't know the numbers on King of Staten Island, and I don't think they ever released them. But it financially could theoretically make more sense. I don't think the $20 model works, and I think a lot of people have been against it. But it seems like this is the only way they could get Universal to come back, and they have to have them come back. Whether other theater chains will do this, but it's pretty crazy that they actually this is how they worked out the deal. Now, the other thing that this could be a big deal with that people aren't saying enough is if Universal got AMC to do a 17-day theatrical window, why couldn't Netflix? And could Netflix be doing this for things like Mank, which they haven't done a release date on, or other of their big movies that they're really trying to push? Could they convince theater chains to have those 3 weeks suddenly? And say, well, you worked out this deal with Universal, can we do 3 weeks? And then we go to Netflix. That's not a bad deal for Netflix, because then they've got all this promotion, they've got all this talk, and they go, and now you can watch it on Netflix. You could see the special, we'll put some dumb crap before it. But I'm telling you, like, this is going to change a lot. This is a big deal. I don't know if it financially will work. I don't think it'll mean you'll get to see Fast and Furious 9 or Minions on VOD sooner. But I do think this might mean the streaming giants will come to theaters probably more often than you previously thought. So, Will says, forgot to send you the announcement for the upcoming Zeller Brothers, Kamiko and Damsel feature. Alpha Gang follows aliens that plan to conquer Earth. That sounds actually interesting. With a cast, Mackenzie Davis, Nicholas Hoult, John Hamm. Oh, that sounds actually cool. Oh. That does sound cool. That sounds cool. Thank you, Will. Cheers to you. Alright. But anyway, that's going to be the biggest deal, but I do think Hulu, all those places, will find a way in. And we're already seeing that with Palm Springs being at drive-ins and things like that. But I think this is opening up for streamers more than Universal realized. Netflix is going to become that other movie studio in theaters for movies that they think have that potential. I definitely see that happening. So I think that's really more way this is in. But I could see the studios actually making more different kinds of movies because they have that financial cushion, or the theory of it. But we'll see if that financial cushion, actually works out. But it is interesting. We'll see. We'll also see, when these theaters open, when this is actually enacted, what the first movie that does it. I think there's a lot of things like that. All right, so moving on. I don't think people realize how big of a deal the Back to the Future 4K release. It's going to have a ton of things that we've never seen before. Oh, someone commented on a video. I wonder who it was. Why did it say that? No one. I've seen that comment already. Anyway, the Back to the Future 4K set has a lot of kind of audition footage and things like that, and new footage we haven't seen before. No, the Eric Stoltz footage isn't on there, but it brings up another audition that we haven't previously seen. That is sort of a piece of that story, but isn't the story itself. I posted about this on Twitter earlier, but I'm bringing it up now. The C. Thomas Howell audition. Now, C. Thomas Howell would later be in things like Soul Man and like all sorts of teen movies and stuff like that. Don't look up the trailer for Soul Man, or do. It's awful. But he kind of was very considered by Spielberg because he was in E.T. He was one of the kids that rides the bike. I just saw him last night. And he was one of the kids that rides the bike in that, and clearly had worked with Spielberg before, and it sort of makes sense he would be in consideration for Back to the Future. And apparently he was, really considered, and I always wondered, I wonder what that audition was like. So I guess we'll be able to find out on this box set of the Back to the Future trilogy in 4K. It will also have auditions from Ben Stiller, Billy Zane, and John Cryer. Apparently Ben Stiller, I think, auditioned for Marty McFly, so that's interesting. I can't imagine what that would have been like. Alright, so there's going to be a new Pixar film. It was announced coming in summer 2021 called Luca. Now, Luca sounds interesting. It kind of sounds more relaxed than I thought. It sort of sounds like Call Me By Your Name, but with, like a lot less sex in it and stuff. I don't know if Spielberg likes Soul Man. That'd be interesting. Well, I guess he liked the guy who's in... Oh, I see what you did there. All right, I'm bloody. But Luca, it's a new Pixar film that was announced. Hold on. Discount Viscount said, I love to rewatch your B-movie review when I'm feeling down or bored. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you, Discount Viscount. I totally forget. Was that a good movie? I hope so. Review? I hope it was. Cheers to you. I hope it was a good review. Was it Luca? Now you're making me think it wasn't called Luca. Luca? Lucha? Now I'm going to look it up. Luca. Yeah. I said it right. Anyway. So, Luca, here's the plot synopsis of this. Set in a beautiful seaside town on the Italian Riviera, the original animated feature is a coming-of-age story about a young boy experiencing an unforgettable summer filled with gelato, pasta, and endless scooter rides. This sounds very much like Call Me By Your Name. Luca shares these adventures with his newfound best friend, but all the fun is threatened by a deeply held secret. He is a sea monster from another world just below the water's surface. Now this sounds interesting. It's going to be directed by Catbot says Vulture has the same idea as you, that Luca is the animated Call Me By Your Name. Could it have an LBGT plus theme? I don't. That's interesting. I'm wondering. That's a good point, Catbot. Cheers to you. Thank you very much. I think there's almost no way anyone. Oh, hold on. Oh, I want to read Trayvon Reed's one. But there's almost no way this film wasn't. I want to answer this, and then I'll get to you. There's almost no way this film wasn't influenced by Call Me By Your Name, and the people at Pixar actually are fairly film literate, so I think there's no way they haven't seen that film. So I think I'd say 100% it's reference with that movie. I don't think anyone's gonna like fuck fruit in it or anything, but I think it was definitely influenced by that. And then Trayvon Reed said, "C. Thomas Howell took Zolar instead of Back to the Future." Is that true? Huh. I didn't know that. Maria O'Connor keeps asking me just to say, fun fact, did you know that there are some clips of the Labyrinth on a library episode of Muppet Babies? I wouldn't be surprised by that. I think so. Anyway. Cheers to you, Trayvon Reed. I think I've seen that episode back in the day. That sounds cool. I'm glad that Pixar is developing other original films. We'll see if that film comes out. It's interesting that they dated it summer 2021. I don't remember the exact date. It seems like most of the announcements didn't have that in there. And at this point, why would you? Now, there's another Pixar thing. Jorge Espinoza, how are you doing? There's another Soul thing I wanted to bring up here. Or another Pixar thing. Sorry, another Pixar thing I want to bring up here. There's been this constant rumor that Soul is going to go to Disney Plus in November. I was sort of writing this off, but then I saw a lot of bigger movie people say, well, it's some of the sources are sort of real, so let's sort of not throw this out, basically. They're not, no serious, it's sort of like the Lando Calrissian story, where they're like, look, no one can confirm this, but also no one can deny this, so let's put this in that right now. Let's say, like, this is a little more, people are taking this actually at face value at this time. That Soul theoretically could go to Disney Plus. Now, reasons it could is that Soul, under the way the Academy rules work right now, Soul could be nominated for an Oscar. Wilford passed? What's going on? Wilford Brimley died? Oh, man. That sucks. I really like that guy. I guess most people know him as the diabetes thing, but he was great in the thing. And anyway, okay. I'm sorry. That bums me out. That's a live reaction. Wilford Brimley's awesome. All right. Let's. I'll try to talk about him later. It's just, man, that sucks. But so it sounds like there's a possibility of Soul going to Disney Plus. I think they could maybe not do it because Inside Out actually did make a lot of money in theaters. I know some people don't like it. I've never understood that, but it did actually make a lot of money. It is actually directed by the guy who runs Pixar right now, so I think maybe he has enough power to say, like, let's keep it in theaters. But maybe it's just like, let's just get this out because Pixar is still producing work, and I'm sure he doesn't want to keep holding things up and release dates. And maybe he's just realized, like, let's just put it out on Disney Plus. Give the kids something to watch on Thanksgiving weekend. That would be nice, actually, because it's looking like we're definitely having Thanksgiving in quarantine. Not to make this night, not to bum you out anymore, but I don't think it's impossible. And the fact that people are treating it that it's a possibility, and the people who've been mentioning it are not crazy people who people don't consider that stuff with it, I think is. It's not just like weird, strange people on the internet. It's people who usually have like sort of connections that can understand these things. I think it is actually a possibility. So I would just say prepare for that, but we have no source at this time. All right, so man, that sucks about Wilford Brimley. So the Ninja article that was in Hollywood Reporter. The main reason I noticed this was blowing up everywhere, and it seems like people are taking it very seriously. It sort of isn't a thing to take seriously, because it's sort of like what he kind of is like, I could do all these things, and I'm like, okay, but are you in a movie? Did you get cast in something? Have you landed a voice role? No. And what this is, it's like, it happened in the 90s, you'd see it in the 2000s, you'd have this promising, rock star, you'd have somebody in another medium, and they'd have a huge spread, and go, I have an agent and stuff, and you'd be like, cool. And then nothing would happen. Because the thing is, it's like the biggest person in any medium never transitions like that. It's always like, like Mandy Moore became the actress out of the teeny bopper people. Like, it's like Ice-T had a crazy, got to be on SVU and stuff. It's never like the biggest star gets to be the biggest actor sort of thing. So I sort of think this is a little ridiculous. And just because he's such a name, that's why a lot of these magazines do this throughout the years that they have done it, is because they know they can sell magazines, they can get page views, all that stuff. So that's why they do it. It's not an actual real story, but there were some interesting things from it, so I'll bring it up right now. Apparently he actually did an ad. Universal paid him to mention 1917 during a stream. Apparently 10 million people saw him mention and recommend 1917. I'm not 100% sure if it was like kind of presented as an ad. I think he just went, hey guys, you should check out this 1917. It's really great. And but it was paid for by Universal. That seems suspect, but whatever. Also, that apparently Netflix admitted that they lose more viewers to streaming and to Fortnite than to HBO, which was an interesting fact. I didn't know that. And they do consider him taken very seriously, because they actually, even admit in the article, there's no connection between him mentioning 1917 and 1917 making all the money it did. They actually couldn't find any analytics about that. I would say it's some analytic that said, oh, well, actually Fandango sales went up, that the 5 minutes he mentioned it, or that hour. They have nothing, but they're like, but it did make more money than we expected. I'm like, what the fuck? Are we joking right now? He also apparently has a cameo in Free Guy, but everyone acting like he can just burst in and be a huge person in the industry. To me, it's like, I think this guy probably wants to be on Rick and Morty, and I'm sure he can if he wanted to, and stuff like that. But there's no real thing to this. It is just hype. It is just hype, and he's just building the hype. And this magazine, Hollywood Reporter, would do it for the page views because it'll help them financially, and that's why they did it. But it has literally no validity, and there are no movies that have cast him in it. So it means absolute jack shit right now. I just don't, it's just it was just a big hype article. You know what? You know who used to have that a lot in the 90s? Danzig. Everyone thought Danzig was going to be Wolverine, be in all these action movies. Did anything happen with that? Was he in any big movies? I don't think that ever happened. Same with Britney Spears never became a good big actor. Things like that. It's just and they'd always hype it up they could be. And I'm like, just here's a tip about working. On entertainment. If you have hype and you think something's going to happen, shut the fuck up until it does. And Ninja doesn't know that. Anyway, nobody knows Glenn Danzig. Come on, guys. Come on. Listen to Mother. He was in the Misfits, the band that Jem hated. Alright, so there was a trailer for Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy, the story of Ren and Stimpy. Is going to come out on demand and on Apple and all that stuff on August 14th. And it was picked up and all this stuff. This new trailer, I actually liked a lot more. It kind of focuses on the evil of John Kay, the controversy of John Kay, all the things about John Kay that the first trailer kind of was more Ren and Stimpy and went, also John Kay sort of sucks, I don't know, and got out of there. But this one focuses on more. I also like that it brings up with the Ren and Stimpy thing, someone goes, what did Ren and Stimpy influence? All of them. All of the shows. And I was like, yeah, it did. SpongeBob, I remember talking to people and people were like, all SpongeBob did was rip off Spumco. I remember it. Don't get upset. I do, but I seriously remember that. And I go, I guess it does, but it's such a huge influence, and I think SpongeBob has done a lot more, but Ren and Stimpy like really started that whole thing. I know about the fan art, somebody's fan art of Fairly Odd Parents. I could barely see it. I don't know how they identified it, but apparently it did, which is not cool that they took someone's Fairly Odd Parents screen art thing. But, you know, I think they just sort of found it probably on Google image search and didn't think much of it, which sucks. I feel bad for that person that happened. That's not cool. But this looks like a promising documentary. I've heard good things. I'm glad they're really going into the John Kay thing. But I also think, I don't think anyone in animation has really come up with a way to talk about Ren and Stimpy, because it's always been a weird subject, because there was so much promise and it was so influential and was such a big deal and everyone thought it was going to be the next huge. I mean, it was this like kind of wake of like the rise of creator-driven animation, and it was like the huge out-of-the-box, like, you know, critically acclaimed huge thing. And sure, The Simpsons was that as well, but I think Ren and Stimpy represented like how far, you know, this wholly crazy well-animated thing. It represented all this stuff, and then the decline of John Kay, as much as it was. I just think I think this documentary will give us more of a healthier way to talk about it, because I think that show was really great. But he was also a horrible person, and we need to understand how to talk about that and its influence. And I do think Bob Kamp did most of it, as ToonJ723 just pointed out to me. You know, John Kay is a horrible person, but I think this documentary could be a really cool thing for everyone and how they feel about Ren and Stimpy. I've wanted to review like both the Ren and Stimpy, the season John Kay did versus the other seasons, like actually get into that at some point. So maybe I'll do that. Yeah, they didn't treat anybody. They didn't treat anybody very well. I mean, they didn't. What was they saying? They didn't treat. Blah. I don't know where I was going with that. He didn't treat anybody. He was a piece of shit, John Kay. Anyway, also it's like he also did the Mighty Mouse show, and it's like, I don't know. It's like he has such a legacy. I hate that John Kay is who he is sometimes, because it's just like, I feel like he created so much that changed so much, and it's like you sort of have to talk about when you're talking about animation history, but you realize he used that legacy to hurt so many people. It was awful person. All right, sorry, it just gets to me, because I used to think he was cool, and then you actually learn who he is. I mean, I never met him, but all right. So Peacock. This Peacock thing is sort of interesting. Peacock got 10 million signups. That's most likely because it's free. And NBC Universal says they're going to now mainly prioritize and reorganize their TV division, prioritizing Peacock. But that's interesting how much sign-up it has had. It seems like it's really kind of taking off more so than HBO Max. I'm going to say I think that's because it's free. But I think it has promise as a streaming service. I don't think people should count this out. But the fact that... oh, here we go. The fact... Sorry, let me finish this Peacock there. I'll get you all. The fact that Peacock is getting so many people, and it's kind of showing it's probably working more than people are talking about. And I think they kind of are seeing a real success rate with it, because it got way less press, and it's even because it launched earlier than people talk about. But, you know. All right, so Will says, Angry Beavers is a really underrated follow-up to Ren and Stimpy's comic sensibilities. That's a good point. We need to give the criterion to that masterpiece. The day the Earth got really screwed up. That's true. Cheers to you, Will. I like Angry Beavers. I haven't watched that in a while. All right, so thank you very much for the super chat, Will. Before I get into YouTube, just cut something. YouTube community captions. There's going to be another Elmo's Playdate kind of special. It's going to be coming on August 6th on HBO Max. So if you're into that, it'll be on there then, as well as on HBO Max. That the Harley Quinn show is now on HBO Max, season 1 and 2. I haven't gotten to watch it yet, and now I can, which is awesome. It seems to me that they're really trying to get rid of all their other streaming services. Although I've noticed the app for Adult Swim is really great. Like, I don't think there's any reason to get rid of that, especially if they're going to treat Adult Swim like they are on HBO Max. So, they've decided to get rid of YouTube community captions. What this is mainly when people put captions, submit captions to videos themselves, their fan-submitted captions. And they've decided to get rid of them, mainly because no one's really using them, and there's always been issues with them on YouTube side. But on the other side, people who are deaf and are hard of hearing use them quite frequently to be able to watch videos. And it seems like they're saying, like, please don't get rid of this function because it'll hurt people being able to watch YouTube videos who use those. I don't like that YouTube changes features so much. It often, as a creator, makes it hard to sort of remember which thing you're doing, because, like, you're like, wait, is this the right way? Do I still do it this way? Or like it's like, I think they think they're helping, but it's like they're often not. I kind of wish. Oh, no problem. I think it was Cornbread who suggested this, by the way. I think we often don't think about how other people other than ourselves consume media, and especially people who are hard of hearing and things like that. And we should think about that more. And just because it is a small audience doesn't mean we should limit that access. And I think, if we talk about the American Disabilities Act, you could actually bring up the fact that you oftentimes when you have an attraction or something like that, you have to have, a ramp or something like that for, access of all people. And the fact that YouTube isn't doing that, I actually think you could make a point that that they should have to do that under that act. So I actually think media and all that stuff should be accessible to everyone, and entertain everyone, and this is a way they could do that. So I hope YouTube changed their mind on this. I think it is sort of a huge mistake, and I think we need to talk about more how people who are hard of hearing, how people who consume media who aren't your normal people, because I think people think of like everyone either having the best setup or the best eyes or the best hearing or the best sound system or something like that. Not everyone does that, and we need to in general diversify our thinking of how consumption of media is done. And actually, when I've talked to people about that before, and this isn't a joke at all, actually, when I talked about people since I've been making content, I used to say I wouldn't go in HD even because I knew a lot of my audience, when I made Cletus the Fetus and stuff, would watch things in libraries. They get a lot of views on libraries because of they didn't have computers, things like that. I never understood when people were like, you have to do HD, and I go, no, people won't be able to watch my stuff if I don't do it that way. So I think people need to think more about that and making media more accessible. And it was mainly also like kids and people who financially didn't have phones was Cletus the Fetus's audience, actually, and even my YouTube videos for a while. So I think people need to think about it. And when I was reading this caption things about the community captions, it made me sad that people aren't really thinking about that. And I think people just think in new media's consumption, what is best for overall, what is the most functional, what is the most popular, and the whole media landscape is actually far more complex than that, and people need to understand that. So please, I hope YouTube does not get rid of those. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. It's kind of a weird tangent I went on there. So the new Jurassic World cartoon that I didn't write down the right name for, and now I'm going to look it up really quick, and hopefully it won't play because I just had the link to the YouTube video, and hopefully everything won't explode. At least it's muted. But there's a new Jurassic World show called Jurassic World Kamp something? Kamp Cretaceous. Thank you. Slowly load YouTube list. Kamp Cretaceous. It looks cool. It's more of a kid take on Jurassic World. It looks like a YA. Looks more like a YA kind of like kids book version of Jurassic World, but it actually looks cool. Like if I was a kid who was into Jurassic Park, this would be one I'd want to see. I'm sure if it was a Scholastic book, Paleo would have bought it. But I think it seemed cool. It seemed fun. I sort of actually want to watch it. I kind of think like it is like Jurassic Park Jr., but it looked like a good take on that, to be honest with you. So I think they did a cool job on that. It looks promising to me, having like a Camp Jurassic Park thing. I think that, it's Camp Koral, but if people didn't hate it immediately. But I think it's going to be really cool. I think Kamp Cretaceous, whatever. I think I'm curious. I'm curious to hear Paleo talk about this on the POS podcast. But it does look like kind of a scholastic book I would get of Jurassic Park, like in 1994, and you'd be like, oh, they have a cool camp on Jurassic Park, and there's. I think it sounds really cool. If you're an 8-year-old kid who loves Jurassic Park, this is the best series for you. And that's some of the things I like about Jurassic Park. It's very direct and sort of its B moviness, and this feels like. I like when Jurassic Park leans more to the B-movie stuff. This is why Paleo and Jim like Jurassic Park 3. I remember Paleo like Jurassic Park 3. I like Jurassic Park 3. It's kind of more in that vein to me. Buster, don't knock over my mic, please. Why? He only comes out when I... Hey, Mr. Shiflet? I think that's... Anyway. Alright, so... Before we talk about... No. So, Shane Carruth. I think you probably heard of him because of Upstream Color and Primer. He is... remember what they say, 2 BD rights don't make a BD Wong. Cheers to you, Austin. Paleo likes them all. I don't care. I like Jurassic Park 3. Oh no! Now you going to the bed? Whatever, Buster. All right. I like Jurassic Park 3. It's just, you know what the thing with Jurassic Park 3 is? Jurassic Park is like a B movie, but it's made at an A level. That's most of the Spielberg thing. Jurassic Park 3 went to B. It's like to be or not to be, and it went all in. And I think that was too much for people. But I like that. To me, it's like Jurassic Park 3. There's like a bunch of others. I don't know. Anyway, that's my ranking. Maybe Jurassic World, then those other two, they can go right here like this. Anyway, so Shane Carruth, who directed those, allegations came out about how he treats his girlfriend, who is in Upstream Color, whose name I didn't write down because I'm an idiot, and she has a new film coming out. She feels he's trying to sabotage kind of its release because he took a picture of an album cover, and he actually only tweets from the Upstream Color Twitter for some reason, because he can't get his own Twitter, I guess. A restraining order he had with her that it looked like an album cover, but the restraining order was clearly visible, but she got a restraining order against him because of his abusive behavior. I did review Upstream Color. I was a Shane Carruth fan, but from how he's treated his girlfriend, and who's now a director as well, I just find it to be pretty awful. And I'm like, I kind of need a break from Shane Carruth after this. So, if you ever wanted to see Primer and Upstream Color, I think they're fantastic films, but I'm kind of getting, sometimes when you hear like, why doesn't that person make movies? It's not always because of the studios. It's sometimes because they're sort of a horrible person, and they know that, and I'm starting to get that vibe from Shane Carruth, and I think that might be very obvious, particularly how he treated his girlfriend, which seemed to be so horrible. She needed to get a restraining order. So, it sort of stinks because I always thought of him as one of the more promising directors of his age, but now I sort of don't care right now. Maybe I'll review Primer later, but at some point I've always wanted to, but I don't really want to right now. So I think that's unfortunate because I thought he was really promising, but the fact that he feels that this is appropriate and to like stalk his girlfriend, need a restraining order, just not. And the fact that he's like taunting her and trying to mess with her film release just shows like kind of just an awful person. Sorry, I feel like I was have to be like serious on these. There's going to be the Michael B. Jordan movie called Without Remorse, which was going to be a franchise starter, is now going to go to Amazon Prime. Basically, his character is one of the Tom Clancy characters is in the Jack Ryan verse, and it was going to be his movie Without Remorse and then go into a Rainbow Six movie. But now, because of all this release date stuff, Paramount needs to sell things off to just make money, and they sold this off. There's rumors that Amazon might consider crossing this over actually with the Jack Ryan, John Krasinski show. There's been that rumor. I'm not sure if they can do that. I don't know if Michael B. would even want to do that because this was supposed to be his franchise. I don't know if the Rainbow Six film will actually go to theaters now. No one's entirely sure what's happening with this franchise, but it's going to Amazon Prime. There's no release date. I think right now there's just rumored ones. She was in You're Next? I didn't realize that. Okay. Another thing, I've heard a couple people talk about the film The Sound of Metal, which actually sounds cool. It's about Riz Ahmed, who's a drummer for metal punk bands, who's slowly losing his hearing. It's supposed to go to Amazon Prime. It's supposed to come out in about 2 to 3 weeks. A lot of people have noticed that there's not a trailer for it and are afraid it might get pushed back further. I've heard very good things about it, actually, and I'm really... Riz Ahmed is a good actor, and it sounds like a cool movie, and I've been wanting to see it. And I actually didn't realize it was going to come out until people were like, hey, this is going to come out. Is it? And I'm like, it is coming out? I didn't know that. So I'm excited for that, but I hope they figure out that. You didn't realize I have these guys here? Anyway, sorry. Doc's Box returns. That's an interesting one. The daytime... let's get through the Emmys thing. The daytime Emmys happen first. Some of the more interesting ones, let me read off the winners thing. Outstanding preschool children's series, Sesame Street won Ghost Rider from Apple TV, which I forgot was on. Sesame Street also won for a short form children's program. Ask the Storybots won for outstanding preschool children's animated program. The Dragon Prince won for Netflix. The Last Kids on Earth won for I don't understand how a Netflix show can be like daytime or nighttime, but whatever. Sesame Street won for a bunch of stuff. Tom Kenny won Outstanding Performer in an Animated Program. Muppet Babies won for Best Performer in Preschool. Green Eggs and Ham won for Best Casting. And there's probably others I'm forgetting, but Sesame Street won a lot. I feel like Sesame Street wins every year. Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure tied with the Cascardians for main title for an animated program. And actually Peanuts in Space won, and Batman Hush won for sound editing. Oh, from Amazon Prime Video? I didn't think that was a Amazon Prime Video thing. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Will said an artist emotionally sabotaging another artist. That was once a significant other. Carruth is a true Miyazaki. Nice, Will. I like that. I mean, I don't like that they did. You know what I mean. Cheers to you, Will. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I feel like Sesame Street wins a lot. Right now, we're talking about that the other day, actually. Sounds like some cool winners. Good for those shows. I mean, Sesame Street deserves it. It's still really great. Also, the Primetime Emmys came out this week. The big surprise, I guess, was The Mandalorian got in the Best Drama category. Quibi actually got 10 nominations, including Reno 911 getting some of those. That was interesting. The others, I don't really watch all those TV shows and things like that, so I didn't really know that. I have not seen Carmen Sandiego. But we'll talk about the animation categories, which were, I don't know how to say this, fucking bad. Primal, Stranger Things Season 3 was nominated for Best Drama, so in my mind, Primal should have been nominated Best Animated. Wasn't. I don't know if that means it couldn't be because they went for the Oscar thing, but I guess you have to pick one or the other, so maybe that's why. But I feel like there was a lot of good animation stuff between Infinity Train and Primal and like all that stuff, that the fact that these came out the way they were, I thought was disappointing. But for Best Animated Program, it was Bob's Burgers, Rick and Morty, Big Mouth, The Simpsons, and BoJack Horseman, which means nothing from Cartoon Network is nominated. For Best Short Form, you had Steven Universe Future, Forky Asks a Question, and Robot Chicken. Other than, good for Steven Universe Future for short form, but I found this to be pretty depressing category, to be honest. I thought they could have done a much better job, and they just nominated, like, Robot Chicken always gets nominated. All these things, it's just like, do they even like cartoons? I never get that from the animation categories. It was just really depressing to me. I don't really like that at all. It's, I don't know what they were thinking with this one. It's awful. Anyway, so, Alf Clausen apparently has fought back against the Simpsons, they're trying to sue Alf Clausen and get him to stop. They're trying to sue Alf Clausen. No, Alf Clausen is suing the Simpsons basically for wrongful termination, and they're trying to say that he had trouble doing this hip-hop episode. But the worst thing about this Alf Clausen thing is he was basically fired because they didn't feel like he was up to writing hip-hop songs for an Empire parody episode, and that's when they realized, it's like, God damn it, Simpsons. Like, that's very a new Simpsons to do. But Alf Clausen is trying to, like, specify, because, like, they never had problems with him doing various musical styles before, and feel like that's not a great reason, and especially he mentioned that he was ill just like a month before and all this stuff. It just seems like they really treated him poorly, and it's just unfortunate. And I wish the Simpsons producers and the show would admit that they fucked up, and Alf Clausen is one of the reasons that show is so good. It's also one of the reasons I don't think the movie is as good, because he's not involved. So, you know, whatever. All right, so Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen are writing a Luca Guadagnino movie, which is interesting. We talked about Call Me by Your Name earlier. It is called, is going to be Scotty and the Secret History of Hollywood, about Scotty Bowers, I believe his name is. It's sort of surprising that they have Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg writing this, because it's about kind of a gay hustler in Hollywood who had many relationships with closeted people in Hollywood and hooked people up who are closeted in Hollywood, and things like that. I've never seen the movie. I think there's a documentary it was based on. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg sound... It's kind of like an interesting pair, or a total disaster, with them and Luca Guadagnino. I'm not exactly sure, but it at least sounds sort of interesting to me. But that... I don't know, that sounds kind of... I'm like half and half, like, that sounds like, why don't they have a gay screenwriter write it? But they didn't, so whatever. But it was interesting. I did learn from a couple podcasts and things... I did learn from a couple podcasts and stuff that apparently Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen were actually writing a script about the Tommy Lee, Pamela Anderson sex tape, and were actually considering having James Franco play Tommy Lee. And this project apparently, like, sort of stalled and never went anywhere. I was like, what is that script like? I'm, like, sort of interested, but also not. And I also, like, I think, like, they thought it'd be funny, James Franco playing Tommy Lee, but I also am like, I think, like, Dave Franco would be better at that. I don't know. That part of me is, like, a little curious to just hear, like, what that script would be like. That sounds interesting. It's sort of like a possible idea with that. How many more of these? Oh, it's almost midnight. How many more of these do we have? Oh, I should have done that earlier. Okay, not too much, and then we'll take a quick break. Hey, the Steve Maker. Alright, so Batman Death in the Family is going to come out soon, this fall, and it's going to be an interactive movie, much to the original story that it was based on, Death in the Family, where you could call in and decide if Robin lived or died. In this interactive movie, you will get to decide that as well. And then apparently it runs into, like, the Red Hood stuff as well. I actually think the interactive part sounds really cool. I'm actually sort of a fan of interactive movies. I think they're more of like a party thing, to be honest. I've never done them by myself. I always find it to be like, hey, let's, like, have some beers and do, you know, when I did the, I think we did the Kimmy Schmidt one. I did the Black Mirror one. And I thought they were fun, but this sounds interesting to me. I think it'd be it's like a fun party game, by the way. I think that would be cool. But I really like the Death in the Family story, actually. I think it's really well done, and I don't really, like, I like the Red Hood stuff, but I sort of don't like when you bring up Death in the Family anytime people, like, will go off on the Red Hood thing. I'm like, I mean, I'm not talking about the Red Hood. I want to talk about this. And I sort of wish it didn't include that, but it seems like there's a lot of alternate different versions. I'm not sure how that works in animation, but I'm curious how good this is going to be. Like, it sounds kind of cool. I'm really intrigued by it, and I sort of wish I kind of want to see it. I'm really curious about this, especially because it was animated. Is this the first animated one? I know they've done some on Netflix, but it sounds kind of cool. I don't know, but I've always wanted a Death in the Family movie, so I'm, like, super excited for that. I have the graphic novel somewhere still. Like, I just remember reading it as a kid. It really, like, just shocked me. Like, I wasn't like, it was just like, I was like, whoa, comics are serious. I just remember how big of a deal. I was like very little when it came out, but I read it when I was in the 90s, and I just remember how big of a deal that comic was. So, I'm curious about this, especially the interactive angle is a real interesting way to put it. I definitely want to see this movie. It sounds really cool. And I like the DC animated stuff. I'm not the biggest DC fan, but I like that. Apparently, there's going to be... it's taking clips from the Under the Red Hood? Oh, I should see the Under the Red Hood thing, to be honest with you. Apparently they're taking Splinter Cell and making a Netflix animated series with it. Is going to be a kind of show run by the writer of John Wick. That actually sounds like a cool idea. I like kind of the simplicity of the writing of that, and I think that would work for an action show, to be honest with you. I don't know Splinter Cell like whatsoever, so I can't really comment on that. But a action show from the writer of John Wick sounds cool, and I was like, if I was going to have the writer of John Wick take a known property, that sounds like a cool idea to me. So I think the Splinter Cell Netflix show sounds promising. It's sort of just announcing and all that stuff, but it sounds like it could be something. I don't know. We'll see about that. Cinemark, and I should have brought this up before. Will let you play. Will pay $100 to rent out a theater for you and 20 of your friends during COVID times. And they had certain movies you could rent, like Back to the Future, Lion King, things like that. And they'll screen a movie. You and 20 of your friends can enjoy this movie, hopefully socially distanced and things like that. It actually sounds kind of cool to me. That idea, because financially that would save you a lot of money. I get it's like just an extra way for them to make revenue. I don't know. I would be interested in people actually doing that. I think I like what that experience is like. It does sound cool, because you think of like 10 people seeing a movie, or 20 people would be $200. It would cost $200. $100 sounds like you'd save a lot of money. Maybe it's because the theater's just making all that pure profit, and you'll probably be more likely to buy concessions and things like that. Financially, I get it. I don't know if I'd go to a theater during COVID times, but Will says, well, I guess the Doug Liman, Tom Hardy Splinter Cell thing is officially dead. Yeah, I would say so, Will. We killed a Red Bull. I would say so. I would definitely... Can I read it out and just play Nostalgia Critic? Nice, Blacksy. Cheers to you, Will. Yeah, I would say that's dead. Although, I guess it's maybe that's why it's animated. Maybe that is why. I wonder if that's why. Do you think that's why? I bet that's why. Anyway, yeah, maybe that is why. So they can still do the movie. Interesting. Anyway, so this Amy Adams film sounded kind of cool. It's an Annapurna Pictures thing. It's in development. It's about a novel I don't think is out, called Night Bitch. Amy Adams is in a movie where she basically has just started motherhood, and there's all the pressures of early parenthood, which is crazy and a weird time. And she also feels like she's slowly turning into a dog. This movie sounds strange as shit. But if anyone's going to pull it off, it would be Amy Adams. I'm sort of into the idea of this, and I hope it actually happens. That would be cool. Oh yeah, we don't have that. Do we have that many things? I think it's hard to tell where I am on this. I'm kind of... Oh, there are a couple. Oh, and then we have... Oh man, there is a lot of news today. Okay, so Mercury Film... Oh, okay, before I get to that, there's apparently a Willow series in development. That actually sounds really cool. There's no green light, but they are still developing and writing scripts. So we'll see if they get a green light, but I'm excited. I'm a big Willow fan. I am a big Willow fan, so I hope that happens. That'd be cool. Whoa, hold on. Oh, hey, K19. Missed part of the show today, but I am here. I am now here. Well, it's good to have you here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the generous super chat, and cheers to you, sir. Or ma'am, or however you identify, sorry. But cheers to you. Thank you for being here. Cheers to you. Oh. It's 11:58. Alright, so Mercury Filmworks says who does film shows like Hilda, and also does shows like Tangled, the series, and a lot of stuff, have said that although people are saying how much animation can work from home and all this stuff, they also have said that that's not true across the board. Some things are harder, some things are easier. You can't mentor people as well. It's hard to communicate things as much. They're saying some shows they've seen, we're at 98% capacity, some they're at 30% capacity. It is more because animation can actually get things done, whereas live action they just can't, or it's very difficult. But I do find that interesting that they were actually bringing that up, because I think they're saying like, hey, things have been good, but they're not like it was, and it is a very different environment. We're sort of learning how to do it. It was a cartoon brew piece, but I think it was important to bring that up, because I think people are just talking about like, oh, we can do everything, and they're saying not exactly, and it's been hard, and some shows it works and some shows haven't, and things like that. So a couple X-Men things. There's a big Hollywood Reporter article because recently was the 20th anniversary of X-Men, the first X-Men movie. Everyone was talking about that. And they were kind of bringing up the real legacy of it was how that brought up Bryan Singer's horrible behavior, and it kind of started him. Although the first allegations happened in Apt Pupil, I will say, before I talk about this Bryan Singer thing, Austin says it's 12 p.m., so it's officially, or 12 a.m., I guess. It's officially birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you, Austin. Thank you very much. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. That's cool. That's cool. All right. Oh, thank you, Doxy Proxy. Okay. Oh, that's very nice. It's all Roberto Fry. Thank you as well. I guess it is officially my birthday. That's cool. Tune J723. Thank you. All right. Okay. Yikes on this story in advance. I like all this birthday love. This is cool. I feel like it's going to be hard to talk about. Let me talk about fun things, and then we'll get back to Bryan Singer. So Courtney Cox is coming back for Scream 5. Oh, happy birthday from... Yeah, I should talk about funnier things. Guardian Crystal, happy birthday. Thank you very much. I guess just the beginning. But tomorrow it's all... Oh, wow. Will, thank you. Coconut Buyer, Twisted Razor, Nathaniel Fogo, Secret Fire, Jordan Bouchard, nice to see you here. Austin. Oh, wow. This is very nice. This is very nice. Are you... I'm a little older than 10. I'll just put it that way. All right. Thank you. All right. So yeah, so Courtney Cox is going to be in the new Scream, which is just going to be called Scream, but it's actually Scream 5. David Arquette is also in that. That's pretty cool. Let's skip this. There's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Might skip that one. Kevin Smith is working on a Green Hornet cartoon show. It actually sounds pretty cool. Well, it doesn't. I don't get the Green Hornet thing, and I know he was actually going to be. He was going to be directing a Green Hornet movie at one point, and that didn't work out in the 90s. But apparently, he is working on a Green Hornet show. It seems like he's working on a lot of cartoons. So we'll see where this goes. My big thing about Green Hornet is, even as a kid, I watched it for Kato, so I never understood that as much. I need to. Okay, let's just. I guess the Bryan Singer thing isn't happening because it just doesn't feel like the vibe's there. Let me get to these trailers and then we'll take a break. Then we'll do Obits. So I have 4 sort of trailers I want to talk about. Pretending I'm a Superman is a trailer for a documentary about the Tony Hawk skateboarding video games. I think actually it talks about its legacy and how it really helped skateboarding and extreme sports and everything like that. So I think that will be sounds like actually a cool movie, a documentary. I probably won't watch it until it's on streaming or something like that, but that is coming out soon. There's this documentary for I'll talk. So that's true. Seth Rogen's is, but man, that was not a good movie. I prefer the show Green Hornet. None of them are good. Yeah, so apparently Michael Jackson wanted to be Professor X. He came to set and asked to be. That was part of the Bryan Singer story. So I'll go back to the Bryan Singer thing. Oh, remember the Michelle got this is 2010 really hard, and I kind of love it. Man, that was a real misstep for Michelle Gunnery. And then Christoph Waltz. But thank you very much, Will. Cheers to you. Oh, wow. Got here on time. Happy birthday, Jim. I am gender fluid, but you can call me he. Okay, I'm sorry if I missaid that, but cheers to you, K19. Alright, so there's this trailer for Pinocchio. It looked really weird, and the character designs look strange, and I never really got the deal with it. I don't, and Roberto Benigni's in it, and I don't get, here's the thing I don't get everybody wanting to make a Pinocchio movie. You're not going to be better than that Disney one. What's the point in trying? Nobody, I'm like, that's one of the greatest made films. Literally, I'm not saying about, the film, how much I like it or something, but, one of the best, considered one of the greatest animated films of all time. To me, it's, Do you think you're going to do better than that? I don't think so. So I've never really got that, but whatever. Oh, thank you, Retroside. I hope I've Retroside. This trailer looked cool. I didn't know that there was a new Miranda July movie coming out soon. It seemed to say coming in September. I'm assuming that means like on demand, but we'll see. It's a Cajillionaire. It looks really cool about kind of like some people who like steal and like kind of like scavenge their way through life with Evan Rachel Wood. Actually, Deborah Winger and Richard Jenkins. This looks really cool, by the way. And Gina Rodriguez. It looks like a cool cast. I've really missed... I like The Future and Me, You, and Everyone We Know. And it's cool to have her back, and I think this could be cool. I don't know why Evan Rachel Wood has a weird voice in it or whatever, but, you know, that's Miranda July for you. And it's kind of cool to have her back, so I'm interested in that. And finally, before we get to the Obits, there was an Infinity Train clip for the new book 3. It looks cool. It looks like pretty much it's going to be between those two people. Those two focusing on them. And it feels like from now on we're not going to focus on the passenger. It seems like book 1 introduced the passenger, and then the passenger is sort of like a thing we sort of just have to deal with, and we're mainly focused on the people who are stuck on the train. So that's kind of going to be interesting. It feels like the plot of it, and I don't really know where this is coming from. It feels like the plot of it is sort of the idea of realizing to grow up you need empathy, and like this refusal of empathy that peer pressure brings you. That's just my idea. I have not seen it, but that's the vibe I'm getting. Alright, so some major deaths this week. Obviously Wilford Brimley just happened, and that's very unfortunate. I would have looked him up more, but obviously just happened. But Olivia de Havilland died. She's kind of the last actress of the classic Hollywood period to die off. She was in Gone with the Wind. Adventures of Robin Hood is one of my favorite movies growing up, and she's just an amazing actress. And then same with I don't know, she's just an amazing actress, and it was just very sad to lose kind of one of the last parts of classic Hollywood. She's 104. She's living in Paris. She was suing, she was suing the people for was it Feud, everything like that. But she just, it feels like we kind of lost a part of history with her death, and it's very unfortunate. But she has a very long legacy in film history that will not be forgotten, and it's sad to see her go. As well as Alan Parker, who has a really great filmography, and I know a lot of critics have wanted to kind of hail him before he died just recently. Between Pink Floyd's The Wall, Evita, The Commitments, Fame, Mississippi Burning, Midnight Express. He has done a lot of great stuff. So I think I really liked Alan Parker growing up, and I've seen a lot of his stuff a lot of time, and it's very sad to have missed him. Oh, we have another super chat. Will's being very generous. Thank you, Will. That Pinocchio trailer was from acclaimed director Mato Garona. I hope I said that right. Would recommend Tale of Tales and Dogman. His take on the story already seems very unique. It might be. It does seem better than most of them, but I just to me, it's like, I just don't see the point at this point. I don't know. It did seem kind of cool. Maybe I'll be more open to it. I just have never gotten the live action Pinocchio thing, but I should have been more respectful of him. So cheers for you, Will, for educating me. Sorry. So I need to get. I realized while I was doing the show. Before I take another pee break, and then we'll do the. Okay, source 2. You know what? I'll set this up before because I don't want it to play by accident. But I'm going to play a video while I take a break. And then when we get back, I will do a review of Batman Dead End, Netflix recommendations, and then we do the questions and all that. But first, will this play? Hold on, make sure cut. Oh, shouldn't have done that. Let me mute 2. Okay. This is low tech, I guess. Alright. This is a little quick video I made today. I thought it'd be cool to share and enjoy this. it's like 30 seconds while I go to the bathroom. I hope you enjoy it. And there we go. Ugh. Okay. I hope everyone liked the thing. I hope that was cool. Was that cool? It was. Is there a secret? No, I just thought I just was cleaning the stove. Did I send it twice? What? What do you do? I'm confused. No, I was just cleaning I clean the stovetop on Saturdays, and I never used that middle thing, and I realized it did it in a line. I go, what if I did it in slow-mo? That would be okay. I kind of do a lot of time-lapse slow-mo things as tests. I never put them out, and I thought maybe I'll just put them out. I'll put them out for like the breaks and stuff, just because I like making them. So that it's like a middle thing in the stove. I never use it, and I cook all the time. I never use this thing, but I just thought, hey, you can do this. It'll go slow and have that clicking noise. I thought it was kind of neat, so I might just put those out during this, because I think that'd be a cool way to get like some of my weirder little things, and then gives you something to watch while I'm going to the bathroom and stuff. Anyway, I hope that wasn't too weird. I don't know. I hope it wasn't too weird. We'll see. But anyway, all right. So I need to get so I'm gonna have the Netflix thing with with help from Cineram. I need to get that video load. It might be awkward because I didn't get that ready, and I should have. And I also wanted to rewatch that video right before, and I didn't. So that's on me, because I wanted to really remember what he said. And Friday was obviously a weird, stressful day, so I don't remember it as well as I should. So apologies to Cineram when I get to that part. But first, all right, I'm going to review Batman Dead End. So I never review fan films. I never review fan films, like, ever. And I'm not really like a huge fan of them or anything like that. But Batman Dead End in the 2003 Comic-Con was massive. Like, people were talking about it. We were like, this is the best Batman thing ever. Like, people, like, literally, Kevin Smith's quote was, possibly the truest, best Batman movie ever made. And Alex Ross says, Batman the way I've always wanted to see him. Like, that is literally, people were saying this. And so, I'm not at Comic-Con 2003. I'm at home, and I'm like, this sounds amazing. I'm seeing pictures, and it looks so cool. And I'm just, like, so happy to hopefully see it. And, and people are talking about, people are like, maybe this is the guy who directed this should direct Batman, like this new Batman. I know they're doing a new Batman thing. We didn't know what. I don't think at the time we knew Christopher Nolan was doing Batman Begins or something like that. But I know people are talking about the guy who directing Batman Dead End. But so I watch it, and it's just like a simple thing. You see, Batman suit up. He's in this alley. You see him and the Joker. The Joker is actually played by this guy who played Boner on Growing Pains, which surprised everyone. And, you see them going back and forth. They have, like, kind of a thing, like, you can take your mask off, but I have to wear mine all the time and all this stuff. And, like, I was watching it with people, and people were, like, so excited. And then, like, you're watching it, and it's just Batman and the Joker, and they're, like, fighting, and the Joker's wearing, like, a straight jacket he ripped apart and stuff. And it's, like, so cool, and you're watching it. And then suddenly, and Batman's wearing the gray suit. It's like so cool. You never see Batman like in the costume, like the gray suit and all that stuff. It feels like more like the comic book Batman, And then suddenly, him and Joker are fighting. I just want, and the Joker shots are cool. And then Joker flies up in the air, and then you see Alien from the Alien movies, and then you see Predator. And you're like, what the fuck? This is not the Batman I wanted to see. And suddenly, Batman is fighting a Predator and an alien. And there's like, the fight. I remember the moment I saw this. It was so disappointing. And everyone I know who wanted to see it were disappointed. Because it just looked like sort of fandom bullshit to me at the time. It was like, of course it's Alien vs. Predator. Of course. It's Batman versus Alien versus Predator. You're the coolest Batman I've seen in a while, and then you're gonna fucking fight Batman, this Alien Predator. Cool comic book fandom. You killed this. Thank you so much. It was just like, it was so disappointing. I had a hard time finishing it. I was like so disappointed. Rewatching it now, and it's been obviously a long time, and I haven't watched it since I saw it and was like utterly disappointed, because no one, by the way, said, they were just like, this is the best. You heard this was Batman, this is a great Batman short, you talk about the great detective stories of Batman animated series, you hype all that up, and no one said, by the way, Alien and Predator show up, and then it becomes like sort of this fan film thing. And this is literally probably the most hyped I've ever seen of a fan film. This guy would later do a World's kind of a Batman Superman trailer kind of thing later, which I haven't seen. But then I watched it now, and I kind of get what they're doing is kind of show off this director, show off these actors, and it's like, it is a fun fight. It's fun seeing Batman fight a Predator, and then even more Predators show up, then even more aliens show up. But it is an exercise. Batman Dead End as an exercise is great. It's really good. As like, look what this director can do. You're like, hey, it's pretty suspenseful. It's a fun little fight. It's 8 minutes. I still remembered pretty much every shot of it, mostly because I was utterly disappointed. But I still remember it, and I was like, you know what? This is impressive. And I think I remember a lot of people being disappointed because they heard all the hype, but they were unaware the Alien Predator thing. Should they have done that? Should they have told us what it really was? Probably. But I remember even people on the internet going like, what the fuck is this? Now, I do actually like it more now. I think you should give it a shot. I think for fan films it actually holds up pretty well because it has some good cinematography. There's a cool fight with it. But as Comic-Con at home was last weekend, I remembered this. And I remembered how big of a deal it was. And I also remembered how utterly heartbroken I was to finally see a cool Batman short and just have it come out like this. But I think we were all too hard on it. It is actually pretty cool. I don't think it is like the best version of Batman. I do think like the fights and stuff are some of the best Batman stuff in terms of that costume, and I would like to see that costume, are pretty cool. But seeing it twist in such a way was just, that sort of hurt. But I've gotten over it, but I just remember that crushing disappointment to be like, oh cool, it's Alien and Predator. Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do with the Netflix thing. Let's get this Cineram thing to work, and then I will do the other stuff, and I might talk about it in a way that gets it. Yeah, let's get this Cineram thing to work for the Netflix thing, because he did make this. It's a longer one, and he has some good recommendations. And I want to thank Cineram for doing this. Sorry I'm a little loopy about it. I'm sorry. But Cineram's great. You should subscribe to his YouTube channel. I've always been a fan of him. But I'll probably just, when I talk, just take a pause so I can edit him in. But let's enjoy Cineram giving us recommendations.
Hi everyone, Scott here, my channel Cineram, and thanks to Jim for having me on to talk about Netflix recommendations. He invited me to submit a few of my own. I appreciate it very much. A couple of Netflix recommendations that are exclusive to Netflix, meaning they aren't really available anywhere else unless they get a limited theatrical release or one of those special Criterion editions like Marriage Story. The Kindergarten Teacher has been on for a couple years. Maggie Gyllenhaal is the main character. She has a class of 5-year-olds that she's teaching, and one of the kids in her class seems to have an incredible talent for poetry, really good moving poetry, that she wants to encourage. And in doing so, she ends up crossing quite a few ethical and, in some cases, even legal lines in order to get this kid's poetry noticed by other people. She thinks of him as sort of a modern-day Mozart, a kid who's, inspired to create all kinds of incredible things. As long as, he has the right environment to do so. She begins doing some very bad things to do that. Questionable things and illegal things, and I sat there going, you're going to ruin your life. Please don't do that. Please don't. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I like Maggie Gyllenhaal a lot, have for a long time, and this is a good one for her. Also on Netflix exclusively is The Old Guard, which just came out a couple weeks ago. Probably heard of this one. Charlize Theron's the main character. It's based on a comic book, and she is leading a group of immortals, people who can't die. They get injured, but they heal very quickly, and they've lived for centuries, if not longer. They're basically a team of mercenaries, soldiers for hire. And then they discover that one of their clients is actually out to capture them and study them because he has learned their secret. He's learned that they've lived for a really long time. He wants to know why. That's Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's a former CIA agent. This is a really fun movie. I was looking for summer escapism. Can't get it in the movie theater right now, but there's a lot of good fight scenes and action set pieces in this one. It's pretty exciting. There's some good twists. A lot of the characters are really great. So yeah, it's a strong recommendation for me for The Old Guard. So about 5 years ago, we had a movie comedy come out called Sleeping with Other People with Jason Sudeikis and Alison Brie. They had a hookup in college, and then about 15 years later, they meet when they're both living in New York City. And they start hanging out and talking with each other about their dating life and their hookups as they go. Very much like When Harry Met Sally, very much like that quite a bit. Sudeikis and Brie, they're both really good improvisers. Their banter is really great. There are a lot of fun supporting characters as well, but it's pretty much their show all the way, and they're great. I saw this movie when it was new. I really liked it, but I haven't seen it since. I watched it like a couple days ago, and I'm like, this is a terrific movie. So definitely want to check that out if that's your bag. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which I'm sure you're familiar with, is on Netflix right now. That is the Charlie Kaufman scripted film. He also wrote Being John Malkovich and a couple of other interesting films, of course. The director, Michel Gondry, did a bunch of music videos that I really liked in the 90s. Very, very creative visually, and this movie is also very creative because it takes place largely inside Jim Carrey's brain. He has asked a company to erase memories of his ex-girlfriend, Kate Winslet, but when he realizes he doesn't want to forget her, he's running around inside his own head, trying to save any memories of her that he can. Like a very visually striking movie, a lot of good camera trickery. Tom Wilkinson and Kirsten Dunst and Mark Ruffalo and Elijah Wood are all in this as well. It's a really great movie, one of the best movies of 2004. And finally, I'd like to remind everyone that 30 years ago, Total Recall came out this summer, 30 years ago, and it's one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's best movies, my personal favorite of the film that he's been in. Forget about the Colin Farrell PG-13 version. Stick with Arnie and the extreme, bloody, Paul Verhoeven violence of the original. Arnold's a guy who is just basically a regular guy living in futuristic America, and he wants to go on a vacation to Mars. So he goes to a company to try and get memories, fake memories of a vacation that he never took implanted, and then things go haywire from there. He discovers he's actually some other guy, and that his memories that he thought were real were actually fake. And he gets running around, and guys are just trying to kill him, and it's a big action movie, and it's lots and lots of fun. Paul Verhoeven's a very dynamic action director. The photography and editing are all top drawer. The scores by Jerry Goldsmith is also terrific. One of my favorite opening credit sequences with the theme music there. Been a longtime favorite of mine, and it's on Netflix right now, so check it out if you're so inclined. Also, I'd just like to suggest that a few movies that are leaving Netflix at the end of the month, at the end of August, you may want to check out before that happens. Clueless, Groundhog Day, Tootsie, V for Vendetta, and The Karate Kid. Those are all really good films. I want to check those out before they go. And, of course, seeing how it's believed at this point in the live stream, it's after midnight. That means that right now it's Jim's birthday. So everybody say happy birthday to Jim if you haven't already. He might have already mentioned something. I'm pre-recording this. I don't know. I'm guessing that it's not after midnight right now on the East Coast. But Sunday is Jim's birthday, so wish him a happy birthday. Jim, happy birthday. Hope you have a great day. And thanks again for having me on your channel to talk about Netflix recommendations. Appreciate it very much. Thanks again to you all for listening. Take it easy.
I muted my mic because I wanted to hear it well enough. All right. Thank you here we go. Thank you very much, Cineram. That was very nice of you. Sorry, I wanted to re-listen to it. So sorry if this is definitely going to be edited in a different way. But thank you very much for the happy birthday stuff. Sorry it was quiet for a little bit. All right. Thank you, Umblati. Thank you, Cineram. That was very nice of you. I shouldn't be muted anymore. Am I still muted? Am I still no?
Quiet for a little bit.
Okay. Anyway, there we go. All right. So let me do my Netflix recommendations. First off, every month or so, I do a Netflix recommendations kind of thing to give you stuff to watch on Netflix that I have watched, that I enjoy, things like that. I think I might be repeating a few titles on there. Apologies, but they're all pretty good titles, and you should check them out. I also have help from my friend Cineram, who will be featured later in this video. Obviously, you guys know if you're watching this, he was just watched him, but when I edit this later, it'll make sense. All right. So first off, I watched E.T. recently with my daughter. She really liked it. It was a really amazing experience, and it is the original version of E.T. with the guns, not the walkie-talkies. If you're ever, I know people get apprehensive, particularly about E.T. because that got the special edition treatment. But if you ever wanted to watch E.T., it is on Netflix in the version that people fell in love with. They also, and this Cineram told me about actually, they have Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I forget if I've recommended this before, but Batman Mask of the Phantasm, so we were just talking about a Batman short, is, in my opinion, the best big screen version of Batman ever. I didn't actually check out if this is in the 4:3 version that it should be, or the theatrical widescreen version, which is actually the incorrect aspect ratio that they had to blow it up to play in theaters. Regardless, if you've never seen Batman Mask of the Phantasm, get on that. It's amazing. I've also, with my wife, and we actually finished today, the show Dark. It is like a cool kind of time travel German show. It's actually pretty neat. My wife's really into it. I don't know if I'm as into it as she is, but I still really liked it. It gets really weird. It gets really strange. But if you enjoy time travel stuff, it's sort of interesting. One of the things I really think about it is when you look at what Stranger Things does with the 80s, it takes like these acid tests and makes it mean something and makes that the whole big emphasis of the 80s, whereas Dark takes that 80s influence and makes what was it? Like the nuclear disaster in what was it? What was the nuclear disaster in Russia? Whatever. Now it's going to bug me. But it makes the idea of a nuclear disaster in... and there's that show. Someone's going to say it now. This is definitely getting cut. It's the widescreen version? What was it? What was the show? Damn it. Now it's bugging me. Anyway, Chernobyl. There we go. Thank you, Karol. Okay, so Dark kind of lives in a post-Chernobyl. Sorry, I couldn't think. Lives in a very post-Chernobyl world, and it kind of shows you a more European perspective on the 80s rather than the 80s perspective we get from Stranger Things. I think you don't necessarily need to look at it as a juxtaposition to Stranger Things, but I like what it does with like time travel and kind of the total weirdness it gets in. I know a lot of kind of like art movie Facebooks have said like this is the weird, real cool, crazy show, but the casting in terms of the actors who play like the same role who are older and younger is really amazing, really great. I think the acting's really good. You can get really into like the whole ideas of like who's the father of this person, how did this thing happen, how did this, like you can get into all the theories. There's podcasts on it. It's actually a really cool show, and I've seen all of it. And I quite enjoyed it. So if you've never seen Dark and you like time travel stuff, that would be good. It also has one of the best... Oh, thank you, KSV. It also has one of the best documentaries I've seen this year, which is The Last Dance. I really like The Last Dance a lot. I considered doing a review of it. I didn't. Maybe I regret that. The moment's kind of gone, but I really enjoyed watching that when it premiered on ESPN. I'm not a big sports person at all, but I like the 30 for 30s, and The Last Dance is genuinely one of the best things I've seen this year. You should definitely check that out. Animal Crackers is on Netflix. I don't necessarily really like it, but the director commented on both my review and Saber's review, and on my Twitter. I don't know about Saber's Twitter. I don't remember that part. But he was very cool about, despite the fact that neither of us gave it positive reviews. It was very nice. So if you've wanted to see Animal Crackers and heard about it, it is on Netflix as well. So I'll recommend it. I'm also going to recommend Spaceballs. It's one of my favorite Mel Brooks films. It's kind of dumb, but it's on there. They also have a Zodiac, which I'm sure you should check out, especially if Mank's coming out this year. It's the one that people previously consider one of Fincher's best. They also have Mean Streets, which is one of Scorsese's best and one of his early kind of big kind of movies. And since we're on a Spielberg kick, and I've been, I've watched a lot of Spielberg. I got to watch E.T. and Close Encounters in Close Proximity since I did Firestar recently, the lost Spielberg first film. But Poltergeist is another great film that's on Netflix, the 80s one, not the newer one. Drive, which was to me one of the best films I've seen of the 2010s. It's definitely on my top 10 there, and I love Drive. I need to rewatch it. It's been a while. Kind of a nice B Stallone film before he really became a huge action star with Billy D. Williams, called Nighthawks, is actually on Netflix. I'm going to recommend that, believe it or not. And Splice, which is from the director of Cube, I believe. I think that's true. It's a kind of a weird body horror, kind of genetic experimentation film that you should definitely check out. You probably guessed that I'm going to put this in there because I talked about it last time, but Unsolved Mysteries, I think it is a great, worthy reboot follow-up to the original series. I thought they did a really good job of recontextualizing for the new kind of making more of a documentary series rather than a news magazine series. I thought they did a really good job. And finally, Uncut Gems. If I've recommended this before, I'm sorry, but it is a really great movie, and Adam Sandler's really great in it, and the Safdie brothers did a great job. Now, let's go to Cineram and his Netflix recommendations. I know he has a lot of good ones and ones that I didn't say specifically because I want Cineram to tell you about them. And thank you very much for Cineram for doing this. Please subscribe and check out his channel. Okay, see, this part's going to get cut out, but Cineram's the best, by the way. All right, thank you very much, Cineram, and thank you for the happy birthday wishes. That's very nice of you. Anyway, please, again, subscribe to Cineram's channel. He's very nice to do these Netflix recommendations videos once a month. That's very cool of him, and he produces great content. I love his channel, and we've known each other for a long time because I don't know, I love his take on movies and everything like that, and he's a nice person. He's a good guy. Anyway, thank you very much, and I hope we gave you something cool. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope we gave you something cool to watch. All right. You should watch Drive. All right, let's do some Patreon questions, and we'll do other questions. I'll give you a little time. I'm getting a little tired. I guess it's my birthday and stuff. So, anyway, I have two questions. One actually from Cineram. This is a good one. Cineram's doing these interesting questions. These two Patreon questions. One from Cineram, one from Will. Full disclosure. Cineram says. All right, Cineram says, so the less cruel version of last week's question, you can eradicate COVID and cure everyone, but you must sacrifice all but two of the following films that have been delayed in their release. These are the films: Fast and Furious 9, Wonder Woman 1984, Black Widow, No Time to Die, Top Gun Maverick, A Quiet Place 2, Dune, The Kingsman, Free Guy, or The French Dispatch. I initially left out New Mutants and Soul because I figured that you would automatically pick those to save. Okay, of those two, all right. Well, Free Guy and Kingsman, and my dad's gonna hate me for this, but Dune, I would take out. I'd probably take out. So I'm sort of between three. It's Fast Furious 9, Wonder Woman 1984, and No Time to Die. Oh, but then French Dispatch. I think I would have to keep Wonder Woman 1984. French Dispatch looks good, but I'm going to go for Wonder Woman 1984, No Time to Die. That's what I'm going to do. I sort of regret a lot, but I want to see Daniel Craig end his Bond, and they can just make another Fast and Furious. I mean, it's kind of the latter part of the series, but man, Cineram. You give me such a good part of the video, and then you you destroy me emotionally. But thank you. I love it. I love that question. All right, this is a Patreon question from Will. If you are a patron, you get the special question part of the show. By the way, Will asks, music artist coming in to do an original score is one of the coolest gimmicks to me. Daft Punk doing Tron, Chemical Brothers doing Hannah, Octopus Project doing Kimiko the Treasure Hunter, and Damsel, for example. What would some of the greatest dream gigs that you'd love to see come to life? Could be any artist or any movie, like the Dario Argento thing. For me, would love to see the Dadcore band Battles do the score for Coen Brothers joint. Maybe that Macbeth one. I would actually put Miles Davis doing Elevator to the Gallows as one of my favorite. I would say maybe or Bootsy Collins doing Superbad. There's another one. Wow. Maybe DJ Premier doing like more stuff. I would have liked that. Or DJ Shadow. Or like my original version of Dr. Dre, when I heard he was doing Bad Boys 2, I imagined it was going to be like... actually, that's what I would like. Actually, Dr. Dre doing an actual score. Like he just put Shake Them Tail Feathers and a few beats in the Bad Boys 2 score, and that actually really disappointed me. I would like Timbaland to do like kind of a weird, like if Timbaland did a Tarsim movie, that just sounds like the perfect thing for me. I'll come up with one more, and then maybe did Stevie Wonder ever do a score? I know Jimmy Page did some Death Wish scores. Actually, those were interesting. Maybe. I know I shouldn't like African Bambaataa because he's canceled, but I think an action movie with an African Bambaataa score would be amazing. Sucks that African Bambaataa sucks as a person. Or maybe Carl Cox doing an action movie. He's a great DJ. I'll put there. I'll end up with that. All right. So let's answer some questions, and then I'm gonna get out of here and have a beer. It's my birthday. All right. Let's go to the top. I should really put a question thing in the chat so it'd be like I know where to. Thank you. Sorry for the Chernobyl thing. All right. Question. Jacob Shelter. I think you're the first one. What do you think of the Philippines having a drive-in theater for the first time? I think that's awesome. That's really cool. I've only done drive-in theaters once, but that's really cool. Bruce Parker. Have you ever considered reviewing the Chris Wedge Ice Age Monster Trucks guy short Bunny? No, but I watched it whenever the Saber Sparks video about Blue Sky. So I've seen it. I remember liking it. I haven't considered it. I could put that in the suggestions for Jim thing. I'll try to remember it, but put that in the Discord. I'll try to do that at some point, maybe. If there's a new Blue Sky, let's get that on the list, maybe. Tannerlands. Hi, Tannerlands. How you doing? Do you think Criterion should release more animated films? Fuck yeah, I do. Some friends and I were talking about this a while ago, and I agree they should put out more animated titles, especially Bakshi's films. Yes, I do agree with that. I think they could do actually the two Fleischer Brothers films, Mr. Bug Goes to Town and Gulliver's Travels, could use a really good restoration. A lot of the more obscure animated films that don't have great distributors, like the UPA stuff, I know finally got a good box set, but that took a while to get restored in good shape. So I'd say a lot of the important animated stuff that doesn't get a good release, I would want more. They'd probably want a big thing like having Ghibli or something like that. But or like the Don Bluth stuff could use a good home, something like that. I think, yes, Criterion has really overlooked animation, and although they've got the Godzilla box set, and I really like that Bruce Lee box set, to be honest. I I don't know. I asked for that for my birthday. I don't know if I got it. Maybe that's a Christmas thing, but I would like it at some point. But like stuff like that, they are opening up more. I will say that, but they need to do more animation stuff, like a Cowboy Bebop cartoon. Yeah, they need to open up more. They need to open up, or they could do Akira. You could do. Have they done Akira? I don't even remember, but they need to do a better job. You're absolutely right, and it's been bugging me for a long time. I definitely have complained. I know Kino does more of this, but I know people there, and they're cool. I like Kino. The Westerner asked, since everyone's sick of Disney's live-action remakes of their animated movies, what's an old live-action Disney movie that you should get an animated remake? Also, happy birthday. Thank you, The Westerner. Or The Westernator. By the way, great short. Check that out. It was on my Twitter this past week. You might have to scroll down, but it was really good. Was it you? It was you, I think. Anyway, sorry. Swiss Family Robinson, I think, would be good. That would be good. Okay, Austin, what are you going to do for your birthday? I think we're going to... That's a good question. I think we're going to chill. I usually have pizza. I don't know if I'm going to have pizza because my wife got me deep dish pizzas from Chicago that they mailed up here, and we already ate those, so I've sort of already done that. But I'm going to watch Adventures of Robin Hood because it's been a long time, and Olivia de Havilland died, and it's time. I think that's post Sophie going to bed. I think we're just going to chill. I am going to go get sprays and boring stuff, but I'm going to get to sleep in. That's I know what I'm doing that. 2 hours, yeah, 2 hours already. That's true. What's the best birthday gift you've gotten? I don't know. I would say I got a boombox with a CD player in the mid-90s, and that was amazingly exciting, so probably that. What would a Jaws 5 be like from Zane Powers? I always thought a Jaws 5 would be like, basically, like the shark comes back and fights like the grandkids of the Brodies. That's what I thought. Like the grandkid of the Brodies who's like sort of my age would then take on the thing and be like kind of a Force Awakens thing with Jaws. That's my pitch, at least. Maybe one time I'll go into more of that. Question from Ace the Wind Rider: do you believe Daniel LaRusso was really the bad guy in Karate Kid? No, that's a funny theory though. I guess Cobra Kai does that. I need to watch Cobra Kai. Jordan Bouchard: what's a favorite memorable birthday memory you have? I guess watching Jaws a lot, going to the beach. I don't know. I'm very low-key about my birthday. If you hadn't noticed, I always end up being on panels or doing a stream. I am Al Nick. Did you watch Doom Patrol? I haven't. I've noticed I'm getting that question a lot. I would like to. That would be cool. Maybe I will check it out at some point, along with Harley Quinn. Bruce Parker, have you ever seen The Nightmare That Is Michael Locke Moose cartoon? No, I haven't, but send that to me. I'm interested. Embla T, when's the Christopher Nolan movie starring Nolan from Pizza Party Podcast and your cat Buster and Nostalgia Critic's cat named Buster crossover? Maybe at some point. I don't know. Kernbread, will he continue to do streaming recommendations even after quarantine eventually ends? That is actually a good question. I like doing them, and they're kind of a good thing to post on Mondays, and I like working with other YouTubers on them and stuff, so I don't have any plans to stop doing them. So I think I'll continue to do them. I should probably take better track of what's been on one and stuff like that. Yeah, I plan to continue doing. Secret Sapphire, what's keeping Hollywood from meaningful LGBTQ representation? I think it's their own stupid bullshit. I've talked about the trans stuff in other episodes, that they really just need to have not think of having a movie star who's not trans play a trans character. They need to have a movie star elevate other LGBTQ actors and give them good roles and have a supporting role of the movie star that sort of elevates them. But they're not really interested in doing that. I think there needs to be a breakout star, and Hollywood is not supporting that, but I feel like the way to do that is there. Oh man, it is late. Okay, maybe one more. Favorite kind of cake? Chocolate cake. What commercial did you like seeing in the past? Rondella Butterfly. $2.02. I guess there's this commercial I've always wanted to see, and it's like my parents would hate it, and it'd be like all these cars and then all these sexy ladies dancing around it in the 90s, and I've never found it. Anyway, cheers to you. I have talked about SpongeBob. It's sort of the end of the stream here. Alright, question, can you drop a freestyle for us? No. Question about the gym that promised tomorrow. Domino's or Pizza Hut? Probably Domino's. Are you going to get the Taco Bell stuff before it leaves forever? Probably not. Alright, so... No, I'm not going to... Alright. Before I go out, obviously, this week we had the whole thing with the Cosmodor stuff, and I did a donation to Rain. You can look up what they are specifically if you would like to. But I unlisted the MomoCon 2019 videos. To be clear, they're still in any playlists that they were previously in. You can still watch them. I just felt that coming up on search might be. I didn't want someone to be surprised, so I don't know the victim or anything like that. So I don't know if they subscribe to me. If they do, I'm sorry if you accidentally stumble on it, but I feel like you sort of know that he's in them. I, at one point, will release a new MomoCon video that is recut without him in it. I think it's sort of a little too fresh, and it's really disappointing to find out about someone who, you consider to be a friend. But I will do that. Maybe if there's a MomoCon 2021 and we can all go, I plan to do it then. But before then, I right now I just don't really want to do that. But that's my plan, is to release a new one at some point, and then those will be removed from playlists and just be like in the description. These are the original cuts. So that's what's going on with that. But I think it was really sad to see what's going on. I don't really want to do it on YouTube Studio, but I will still have a way if you want to watch the original cuts to do it when I eventually do that. But right now you can just find them in the journal videos and I think the convention playlist. But other than that, you can't find them on search, which I didn't think was appropriate. So anyway, that was sad, and I think it was stressful. And there's a lot going on this week that was un-Cosmodor related. But it just stinks, and I think it caught me by surprise, caught everyone by surprise. But I think we took the right actions, and I hope he seeks help and all that stuff. It just sucks to lose. You kind of just realize someone wasn't who you thought they were. So anyway, I just wanted to add that at the end. I didn't want to start the show off with that. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for being here on my birthday. It was a lot of fun spending any Saturday night with you guys. But it was especially fun this time. So thank you all. Have a great night. And I will see you later. And subscribe if you would like to. Have a good night. And thank you for the birthday wishes. Peace.